2GR.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Resumes All Hands podcast. I'm Sean, this is Matt, this is Onyx, that's Rudy across the table. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got some footage to share with you guys this time around if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube. Yes. So today we are going to be talking about the Game Awards. Ooh. Geoff Keighley's Game Awards. The nominees have come out, so we're going to talk about the top 6 that were nominated for the Game of the Year award.
Pretty exciting.
We're going to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Ooh. Onyx got a chance to play it at the Florida Mall.
Hands on, baby.
One of 11 places in the country, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We letting him practice.
Nintendo Switch holiday event. Pretty cool stuff. What?
Why are we letting him practice?
4 minutes on free for all.
I don't care.
Because he needs it. And
Fuego.
But he got some footage, so during that segment you'll see some of that. The Detective Pikachu trailer came out, and though we did not react to it, we have some things to say about that.
Yeah.
Just before we started filming this, there was news posted online that Sony will not be participating in E03 2019.
Wow.
So we're going to talk about that. And last but not least, we're going to do a farewell to Mr. Stan Lee, the good Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Creator of many of our beloved
Marvel heroes.
Yeah. And talk about his impact not only on the games industry but just on the world in general.
Yeah.
So if you want to skip any of that, there's timestamps in the description below. But otherwise, gentlemen, let's get started with the Game Awards. So what were the 6 games that got nominated for Game of the Year by Geoff Keighley and company?
Celeste. Yeah. Was one of them.
That's a place to start.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
AC Odyssey, Red Dead Redemption. I forget the other
God
two.
of War.
God of War. Oh yeah, God of War.
And
Marvel Spider-Man.
Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
God of War.
Pretty expected.
Yeah,
for the most part.
It's a cool list. Surprised that Celeste made it, by the way.
Me too.
Not because it's not a good game. Obviously, we all
just
love
all
it here.
AAA stuff,
Matt,
man.
He's playing through it right now.
You're gonna love it.
I'm very proud of this man.
You're gonna love it.
It's a little not disappointing. It's expected.
Yep.
And it's a TGA. So this is kind of like the commercial, the big commercial for the games at the end of the year, right? You have a lot of game announcements, a lot of trailers, a lot of hype. It's just still kind of disappointing that we see these 6 games that are going to be Game of the Year, and either it's disappointing because we've had a lackluster year, or the variety of the games is just, I don't know. A lot of them are these big AAA games that somewhat feel samey at the same time. Nothing that I saw on the list made me be like, wow, that's a hell of a different game besides Celeste and Monster Hunter World.
I don't know if it's the AAA that makes it. It's the franchise nature of them, right? God of War and Red Dead, big franchise entries,
sequels,
right? Assassin's Creed,
sequel,
biannual to annual franchise.
Yep.
Spider-Man is fresh.
That's a unique one.
That's fresh, but still
the,
familiar.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
So it's like, if I'm thinking about it, if I'm sitting here right now and thinking about how many indie games I played, and I played a lot of indie games this year. We all played a lot of indie games this year. Like The Messenger. I really wanted to put The Messenger on my top 5. I don't know that I can say it was really good, but was it better than God of War? Was it better than Spider-Man? Was it better than Celeste, which I'll find out. I know it's not better than Celeste. You guys have already told me.
I haven't played Messenger. I don't know.
And you beautiful men know your indie games. So, yeah. So it's. I don't know if it's. I think we're kind of spoiled right now. Like
we are.
That's a great lineup. This has been a great year for AAA, and for all the qualms any of us have had, which we've had plenty of qualms with these big AAA games.
Yeah.
They're all Game of the Year quality.
They are.
Does anyone disagree with that?
Maybe. Well, I haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah,
that seemed. It's. Well, by the way, I think it went from 5 games to 6 this year.
Yeah, last year was 5.
So
I remember that.
It's like, which one was the one that they thought, well, let's increase it to 6 so we can get it in? For some reason, I feel like it would have been Odyssey, though. I don't know why they would have picked it.
I keep hearing that.
Well, I hear it's a good game.
Really good.
I mean, Odyssey has been discussed in comparison to Red Dead. Odyssey has been discussed in ways that I never thought I would have heard. I've heard people say Odyssey does things better than Red Dead in terms of what an open world game does.
No, dude.
Are you serious?
No
for
joke.
a very simple example, which I complained about when I first got Red Dead. You know how it's like super realistic, your horse is too far away, and just like in Breath of the Wild,
You kill
he
5
won't come up.
bunnies, I get it.
Right? So he won't come to you when you whistle, but that's not in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You whistle, boom, like Witcher 3. He'll come up wherever you are.
Auto spawn.
And yes, it takes away, I guess it could take away from the immersion factor of it,
yeah.
but does it make it easier to play the game? Right? That's the kind of thing that they've mentioned in Odyssey.
It's gameplay versus immersion.
But it's it's not just gameplay, because I was just listening to someone else the other day talk about it, and they were raving about how Odyssey, like their side quests are so poignant and well written and interesting, and that it makes you listen and invest in the game. Like characters would bring things up that you needed to remember later on. Otherwise, or like there'd be a side quest where they ended up having to pick between twins. You know, the old cliche, oh no, I don't know who's the good guy and the bad guy. And they're like, this is really good, like a really well done way to do it.
Like a lot of great subject matter.
We haven't played it. I played Origins, and I think I'm the only one who played some of Origins, and I saw the approach to it being better, but I think we're having a hard time breaking that barrier of like typical Ubisoft yearly release. I think if we sat down and played Odyssey, we would find that it wasn't just the sixth game that got thrown in.
Yeah,
it seems like it's been worthy based off of what people are saying.
And fair enough, you could say the same thing about like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like another I mean, even outside of the superhero genre, it's like
another
open world city with all these different mini activities that you can go do.
Look at our selection this year versus last year. This year in Game of the Year, you've got how many open world games? Red Dead, AC, Spider-Man. What's the other one? Monster Hunter World is semi-open world-ish. Open world design in the levels.
Right.
Yeah. Last year we had Breath of the Wild. We had Persona 5. We had Mario Odyssey, which was, I guess you could say, also Nintendo. Open world. Nintendo out of the park, right? There was other
Horizon.
Games. Horizon. Was it? Oh yeah, that was open world. So
Prey should have been in there.
So I don't know. It's looking at the variety is what I'm trying to say.
I think the struggle that a lot of people have when trying to look at what are the best games that came out in a single year, and I think the reason why you see so many AAAs get it over indies is, especially from the journalism side, not necessarily from the fans,
right?
But from the journalism side, they're trying to also acknowledge how much of a feat it is, because it is a feat to put a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 together. How many hundreds of hours or thousands of hours of overtime did all of those hundreds of employees work to get that game out the door versus something like Celeste, where I can only imagine a dozen or so people worked on it.
Right.
You know?
No, definitely.
And it's not putting anybody down. It's just saying for these huge, it's like the Oscars, right?
Right.
How many people worked on Infinity War versus how many people worked on, some movie that takes place in the same room the entire film?
No, but even Shape of Water, that's a much smaller budget compared to Infinity War.
Well, Shape of Water wasn't the best picture last year anyway, but
and it's weird how with the Oscars they tend to go
Not Shape of Water.
They tend to go towards more of
Dunkirk.
those smaller films for the awards, whereas still on the gaming industry we're always like the biggest, the best, the most realistic, the most, and those are the ones that typically tend to.
So gaming is still in the blockbuster era, essentially, where it's like the big stuff, the real shiny stuff is what gets more recognition.
Let's look at AAA gaming right now, and let's compare it to recent years in Game of the Year. I want to go back to the year that Dragon Age Inquisition won.
Oh well, that was
and
terrible
look at how
year.
spoiled. How fortunate would you feel if this year Dragon Age Inquisition came out? You'd be like, no. And then let's fast forward to the next year with Witcher 3 winning. And I'm not saying Witcher 3 wouldn't still win, but there are things about each of these games that I'd say are better than they are in Witcher 3. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been the best open world game that would have gotten this year, but CD Projekt Red would have been pushed in that realm.
Yeah.
And we haven't really had like a Mass Effect Andromeda crapshoot that was supposed to be Game of the Year this year. Maybe 76, but I don't even count that because that's essentially...
That looked awful from the beginning.
That's essentially... We knew that was going to be bad. So I feel like we're just kind of spoiled right now.
We definitely are. And to add to that, you also got to take into consideration, like, it's been 5 years since Inquisition came out. This is the 5th Game Awards, too, coincidentally. And...
That's true.
Developers have learned from each other.
Oh, yeah.
Red Dead Redemption took a bunch of ideas from other games in that genre before it and just improved upon it. Just like Naughty Dog has been doing for years too. You know, so it's we are spoiled, and I don't know. I just want more diversity.
It was too easy. We all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Well, and regardless of what we say here, I'm pretty sure at least 4 of the 6 of those games will be in our top 5.
Yeah, either way, yeah. But what does that tell you about the year? Like, is it that easy to say, that nothing, like, was there no competition? Was the divide between those games and everything else that big that there just wasn't anything else to put up there?
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
It sucks that Smash didn't make their cutoff, but it'll make our cutoff whether or not it'll be in our top 5.
Yeah.
So who do you guys think? So, by the way, we put a poll out on the channel. So if you're out on YouTube, you can go look through your subscription feed and you should see a poll.
See the poll, yeah.
So there was a poll. Users jumped in and said who they thought was going to win at the Game Awards.
It's pretty split.
It was pretty split between God of War
and Red Dead.
The last I checked, I think God of War was just barely inching it out, but it was back and forth. Who do you guys think because this is voted on by like a panel of like 80 journalists pick these awards. So where do you see the final trophy going at the end of the night?
From everything I'm hearing, like not even my own opinion, it's Red Dead, and I don't think it'll be that close when it comes down to it. I think people loved God of War, and I think Red Dead will still crush it when it comes to the votes.
So none of us have finished Red Dead.
Yeah.
But God of War did have that emotional crux to the story. And I don't know if Red Dead has it. I'm sure it has it at some point because we know the end of these outlaws. Like Red Dead Redemption 1 already happened, so we know what's going to happen to these characters. So I'm expecting it to have a good emotional climax that'll get to me. But I look at God of War and I think a lot of people, are attached to Kratos, more so than I would wager Dutch van der Linde or Arthur Morgan and stuff. So based on that, I think people can look back and say, oh, well, God of War did do a lot of things. The whole one-shot camera or the angle and everything. Those kind of things that maybe not crazy revolutionary for the genre, like Red Dead Redemption is setting up to be, might still be looked upon with good regards. I still think Red Dead's going to take it, honestly. But God of War might sneak up and be like, hey, guys, I'll take it from you. Oh.
I guess I really want Celeste to win.
I mean,
like, I'll be honest with you, 110%. Like, I really want it to win. Realistically, though, I haven't played RDR. I haven't even started it, but I've heard the reviews are amazing.
They are.
But I don't know, God of War, man. That's still that. Like, I finished that, and I was like, I literally, first off, like, spoiler alert, I put down the controller, and like when I saw the ending and I saw the hammer, I was like, WTF. What a way to end it. But aside from that, I mean, I don't know. RDR, like, and again, this is on other people's accounts. From what I hear,
right.
Act 1 and Act 2 are amazing. Act 3, it falls off a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which
it's a long game. It's going to have pacing issues.
This is hearsay.
Yeah.
I don't know from personal experience. So that, to me, like, says, okay, well, story-wise, God of War.
And the same thing happened with the first Red Dead. You get to Mexico and it was like, oh my God,
I couldn't finish it.
That was an amazing experience getting into Mexico. The actual contents of Mexico.
That's where many gamers just stopped. That's where
guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I'm glad I pushed through because that ending was
you're
so
Rob.
good.
I went back the other day and watched every cinematic that Dutch was in, and then watched the entire ending sequence, and I was just hit like a truck again. I was like, I can't.
So good.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like that's just where the people that fell off at. That's generally where it happened.
Unfortunately,
and it was big enough.
I have heard that this Red Dead gets to the point where you kind of see what's coming, and then you end up spending a lot of time and interactions that feel like they delay the inevitable. Maybe that's what you're referring to. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know either. I'm just telling you what other people
I'm only in chapter 3, so... And I don't know how many chapters there are, but...
I think if you look at just the Metacritic, it's going to be Red Dead Redemption 2. Mm-hmm. But, like Onyx said, I think when they look at it from the perspective of not what got the best score... But what
made them feel?
What was just the better
experience? Really,
experience.
I hate saying that word, but
I don't.
I love saying that word.
What did God of War do that would elevate it over Red Dead Redemption? Not in a score, but in an impact.
Right.
And
we just got to
without having played too much of RDR, I can't answer that right now. But I think there could be some of that there.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Florida recount.
Oh my.
Let's not get political
It's
here.
really too close to.
I will say this, totally out of left field.
God.
There's a game that I understand, like categories and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But if you were really looking at purely the rise of a game, the impact of a game,
Celeste.
and the constant...
I know where you're going to say.
You know exactly what it's going to be, and you know that it would win
Yeah.
Fortnite.
And it would deserve it.
Oh,
It
well,
would-
that
and it
didn't
would
even get
deserve it.
nominated.
And
Fortnite,
but
more like-
they are doing
I know.
things with like week to week narrative in that game that are
Yes.
mind blowing.
Yes.
They're doing.
Yeah.
I cannot believe like all props to Epic. I'm actually
No,
kind of shocked
yeah.
that it didn't make the list.
I was expecting
I get
it, to
it.
be honest.
Actually, yeah, I'm
I
surprised
could
it didn't make the
so
list.
easily
They probably got a lot of
seen
crap from
Celeste or
PUBG.
Spider-Man not making it, and
Over
Fortnite being.
And
pushed
honestly,
in.
Fortnite, you're right. Like, I don't play it at all right now. I've only played like 5 hours of the game, but I see my daughter play it all the time. And to see, like, she's actually developed a skill set playing this game. I see her doing this crazy crap building, literally the crazy quick circle building, climbing. I'm just like, wow, she's got skills. And no random little game is going to do that. You know, this is on a massive appeal.
But Infinity War's not getting nominated either, so
fair
Fortnite
enough.
is the Infinity War of anyway.
guess.
All right.
I
I mean, Thanos was in it anyway.
Oh god.
anyway,
Speaking
what-
of other games that were not nominated for the Game Awards, Onyx, you got to play some Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yes, I did.
So tell us about your experience.
So I gotta give props to Nintendo. The way this is handled is like super efficient. I went 2 nights, so they're having these holiday. They're calling it the Nintendo Switch Holiday Event. It's 11 cities in the states. We're lucky to be in one here in Orlando. So they have a booth, and it's a big old screen. They've got a bunch of demo stations for Just Dance, Mario Kart for some reason. Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are gonna have demo stations, and then they have obviously Smash. So it's free for all, items on, random levels, go for it, all characters. So when you get there, you make the line. The first night I got there, I wanted to look at the footage first, so I recorded some of that. Actually, really cool. Well, not cool, but really interesting rules. I can't record the character select screen. I have to wait for the game to actually start. I can't record just a screen. I have to have a body part in my recording. I don't know why. I guess I can't make it my own video. I don't know. But
interesting.
so, some rules that the reps put up. And then, yeah, everything else is smooth. 4 people, 2.5 minute rounds. Just moving on. They're all on pro controllers, not GameCube controllers, which was kind of like disappointing, but I'm probably sure they want to push that pro controller on people.
Well, a lot of people are gonna play with just pro controllers. Not everybody's gonna feel the put. Not everyone's gonna go spend $100 like I just did on wireless GameCube controllers. And I'm not even a fanatic, but I feel like I have to have it for friends anyway. So,
Yeah.
how did you feel the pro controller experience was?
It actually wasn't bad. At first, I thought it was laggy because like the buttons are different. GameCube, the way the GameCube controller is built, like those buttons are like there's like no space between the button and the actual input.
Right.
So like I was pressing A just to do my normal jabs, and it felt like it would take me longer to hit it. But it's just because I wasn't used to the controller.
Yeah.
But it felt good.
So who did you play as?
So we put it was a last minute thing, so I get that not many people responded, but we put a question on the thing and nobody answered except you. You're like, play Incineroar. So I'm like, all right, fine. I got to play Incineroar, 1 match, and I played Richter.
Guys, I've got a new main.
Boys, Incineroar feels so good. But this is purely on 2.5 minutes of free for all on the Star Fox map. I forget which one it was.
Playing against some teenagers.
well, no. So one guy that was next to me, he, real quick, I love these events because they bring the community together.
They sure do.
I saw so many CFL top players. Like literally, I saw the #1 player who took on a match to one of the best players in the world there. And I talked to him and stuff. The guy's cool. He knows my brother, who's a CFL player too. So it was nice just kind of chatting with these people. And the guy next to me was like, hey, I want to play Incineroar. And I was like, hey, me too. So we kind of set it up as like a friendly thing. Like he'll be Incineroar, I'll be Incineroar. We won't hit each other. And we did. We didn't like hit each other at all. So we kind of try to make it 2v2 that way to get more of the competitive feel to it. Incineroar feels really good, really, really good. His aerial movement is like super quick. I didn't notice a lot of lag from his like aerial to the floors. And it was really funny because there was a part where two people were like fighting on a top, platform. And the Incinerator, my buddy, was like kind of hanging at the bottom. I had my special, my final smash. And I pressed the button, and his smash, he just runs directly at you. And then that's when he grabs you to do his like final smash.
His dark lariat, whatever it's called.
Yeah. And like I literally barely missed him and grabbed the other two. And he was like, "What the hell? You missed me!" I ended up killing him anyway, I guess somehow. Really, really cool experience. I cannot wait to play more of Incineroar. And I got one round of Richter. Richter feels so good. His forward smash is like the long throw with the whip, and it just kind of goes straight. I don't know if like it has a tipper effect where like the tip will do more damage and more knockback. I'm not sure, but it felt really good. His side B is the cross.
Mm-hmm.
Down special is the holy water, and if it hits him, you kind of get stuck in there, kind of like a PK fire.
Yeah,
from Ness.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah,
dude, he has a lot of movement abilities. I really like playing Richter.
It's a
really
zoning
cool
character.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. I got destroyed by Inkling. They were playing the Inkling girl, and that character has some really unique stuff. Because if you like from the stuff they've shown, you get like wet in the ink, you get hurt more and stuff like that. So definitely some good stuff in this game.
How long was the line?
So the first night I went, it was a 45-minute wait.
Wow.
And that was like
minutes.
everyone gets one round essentially. Is that how that?
Yeah, you play one round.
2.5 minutes.
To the back of the 2.5 minutes, and you get back to the line. So there was a lot of people the first night, and then I went again yesterday night, and at the time that I got there, far less people. But before I even got to there, it had gotten back to the 45-minute wait.
Wow.
And luckily, I knew the people there because I kind of went back like halfway and I started talking to them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't planning on playing again, and I just kind of kept moving up, and they were like, "Hey, we need singles." And everybody was grouped up. Literally, every single person to the back of the line was
because they were
grouped
there
up.
with friends and they wanted to play together.
And I was like, well, I'm a single. And
Yeah.
bam, got it again.
Nice.
So that's how I got to play Richter again. And then
Incineroar the second time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Hating
boys.
on the K rule. Hating on the King K rule.
I would have picked K rule, but I have so much footage. Like, there was a game where like I think there was 3 K rules just joking around. So it's like,
hey, Luigi rules and K
drools. I can't stand you. But yeah, I mean,
Oh, the dad puns.
you know, honestly, the game is shaping up to be awesome. The little bit that I played felt really good. I won a match that I played in Incineroar, so I was like, boys, I found my new main because he just felt so good to play as. So I'm definitely gonna pick him, and Richter for sure. But this game is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be everything we've wanted and more.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Let's break our Joy-Cons, guys.
Yeah.
I'm breaking my GameCube controller.
Did you guys
Break
have
a
anything
switch
you
in
wanted to
half.
ask Onyx?
I think you basically covered it, yeah.
You covered it from beginning to end.
Yeah, I hope you guys
This is
enjoyed
all
the
new
footage.
to me, man.
I know.
I think the hype level's pretty high for this game. I know,
Yeah.
I know, Rudy, you haven't played a Smash game before, but
My body's ready.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be
Appropriate.
awesome. And I hope you guys enjoy the footage. If you guys want us to do something more like this, I mean, we're down to it if we have the ability to do so.
I'm just saying if we don't have any super late night like weekend plays where we get together and we end up playing for 7 hours and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I end up crashing on your couch, like I'm not going to feel like this game succeeded
That's
unless
very true.
I feel like a college student again. So
That's very true.
mentally prepare
we need
yourself.
to feel that. We need to do this like dudes.
Thank goodness it's coming out
If
right around the
I
holidays.
yeah, I was
I
gonna say,
know,
if I don't get
right?
yelled at by my girlfriend because she hasn't heard from me in 4 hours because of Smash, then they've done something wrong.
Nintendo, you failed.
Well, thank you, Detective Onyx, for going checking that out.
You're welcome.
But
boys.
let's
Nice.
move from
Oh,
Detective
no.
Onyx over to Detective Pikachu. So Warner Brothers Legendary
What the hell?
dropped a trailer
What the hell?
for this
Yeah.
movie called Detective Pikachu, which is based on the game
Yep. Yep.
Detective Pikachu,
Yep,
which
yep.
has a talking Pikachu in it.
AKA the horrific Mr. Mime.
The
Oh my
the
God,
movie
yeah.
title subtitle.
God,
Um,
yeah, we'll talk about that.
So it takes place in the real world.
Yeah.
Does it? I didn't think
Well,
it was real world.
okay. Excuse me.
It's a realistic
version.
It's a live action. It's a live action film.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not
Okay,
Earth.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was
a
gonna say,
live-action
wait, it's
film.
not. Yeah.
Bro, there are Pokemon everywhere. I'm constantly getting Facebook messages about the ones that people caught recently. What are you talking about?
God, if only.
You don't have Pokemon Go on your phone? Anyway. This movie very quickly shows you that it's different from what you might expect from Pokemon. I guess I'll just kind of throw out there, like right out the gate, it appears to be an amalgamation of Pokemon meets Who Framed Roger Rabbit meets the Gremlins. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's what Detective Pikachu was, right? It was a visual novel-esque game in the Pokemon universe. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and it had those noir elements and
Oh my
stuff.
God.
And it's like, how do you bring this into a movie? Because they did make a movie in Japan, I think. I think there was an animated movie.
They've probably, I wouldn't be surprised.
I forget if it was the movie or there was something that had really crappy CGI.
Internet, let us know.
Please.
I've been very over Pokemon recently because of Go mostly. I'm looking forward
That's
to
so funny.
I'm looking
Go revitalized Pokemon for a lot of people.
I just got mobile gaming.
It's
a whole thing, right? But I am looking forward to the games next year. I am looking forward to the next progression of Let's Go Eevee.
I certainly hope so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That trailer was perfect.
It so was.
Because
Ryan Reynolds, baby.
That movie could have so
Deadpool as
easily been the next
cringe.
Smurfs, the next Emoji movie, the
You're
next
right.
successful crap live action CG integration movies, right? Could have so easily been that. If they had gone with typical Pokemon, they probably would have had to have gone down that road. Choosing Detective Pikachu was
It just
perfect.
made sense. So much sense.
I can't believe how much I enjoyed that trailer.
I would never have asked for
believe
this.
it.
I never would have asked for a Detective
Because people
Pikachu
who
movie.
don't care at all about Pokemon
like
still
raving.
know who Pikachu is.
Yes, it's Pikachu.
And they literally just read the market perfectly there. Who's
So
not gonna?
good.
Who's not gonna? That movie might break records.
it's
genuinely
probably going to break something. Yeah,
It's got to be the best video game movie ever.
the
pretty
highest,
sure.
the highest grossing
Guaranteed.
for sure. Yeah,
And highest rated, probably. The next one is Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
really, that's the
Yes.
highest rated.
Yes.
That was an okay movie.
Yeah, it was okay. That was Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Little whitewashing, but
Yeah. It was
Oh, yeah,
very tan Jake Gyllenhaal.
None of that here, boys. We got Justice Smith. Smith? Yeah.
No, I like that cast.
Yeah. No, the cast is great. Ken Watanabe is the. I guess,
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
I
the
love
dad.
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
The dad that goes.
No, he's not the
No,
dad.
no.
He's not the dad.
He's
that
like
goes
the
missing.
lead
he's the
director
worked with dad.
of the thing or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the kid's black, so I don't think Ken Watanabe. Oh, maybe he
What does
adopted
that
him.
matter?
I don't know, but I just assumed he wouldn't be Ken
His
Watanabe.
His voice is forever in my head.
Ken Watanabe.
beautiful.
Ryan Reynolds too.
Dude, he should. Ken Watanabe needs to come out in the middle. He needs to be like the guy, like in the middle of a Pokemon match that goes, "Let them fight."
It might happen because we're gonna see some underground fighting here. Like you saw that Charizard.
Jigglypuff probably
yeah.
should have had like a motorcycle jacket on with the way it's like the hair was just
Oh,
this
like a-
frown
like
on
a-
his face, like I just killed this person sitting at the table with the
Dude.
power of my voice.
And I saw a video that talked about the game or the movie, and I did not know this. And when I read this, I'm so happy. The writer of Guardians of the Galaxy is writing this movie.
That makes so much sense.
That's huge.
Now it's clicking.
Huge.
Yeah.
You can definitely pick up on
You
it.
can.
There's that added layer of maturity without it being overwrought, right? Like
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 proved that you can, even with an R rating, that you don't have to go all the way with that
Yeah.
sort of thing, and you
Yeah.
can still make what I thought was a better movie than the original. I'm not even comparing them because of Ryan Reynolds. That's just literally a good mature comedy I can think of. Like the Mr. Mime scene had me.
Oh my god.
Like the whole just like I think he's telling you to shove it, like just little bits like
Mime's
that.
like that, yeah.
Like that was the most subtle way to say, go after yourself.
Yeah.
But it worked so well. Like they're not just these cute little like what would Pokemon be
They
like
have
in the real
personality,
world?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then of course there's like him in Chinatown and he's like, dude, they can't hear me, and then Pika Pika, and
That was adorable.
It works super well flashing back because it's making fun of itself.
Yeah.
It's satirical.
It's self-aware.
So yeah.
Like even Mr. Mime doing this and like Pikachu jumping and hitting the
The
wall,
wall?
Which
Yeah.
is like, isn't that like an actual move?
Yeah,
like,
the
light
mime,
screen?
yeah.
But
No, the
yeah.
mimes do it, but isn't there a move like
Reflect.
light screen or reflect?
Yeah,
Yeah,
reflect,
there you
yeah.
go.
it's like, it's so good. They thought it's just so good.
Well, that's the other thing is if you watch and just look at stuff in the background, only Pokemon fans are gonna pick out certain things. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
had the oh
Dodrio
God,
at the
now I'm
beginning?
already making myself look like not a Pokemon fan.
Charmander, they had Dodrio.
But there
walking around.
were like signs for like shops and stuff that
Oh,
were like
yeah,
straight
yeah.
out
Like
of
a
the thing.
Pokemart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know
what's
if I saw the Pokemon.
what is it? Moo Moo milk is what they call the milk from Miltank.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Lon milk.
I know that's what I was thinking. But no, I'm pretty sure I saw Moo Moo
Just a
milk back
Nintendo
there.
fan.
There's like a lot of Pokemon that are just like in the background that are probably
Yeah.
not going to get front front ground time or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna
time.
be old Gen 1 either.
It's not.
We saw Greninja. Obviously,
Emolga was in there.
Also, the Greninja's like chasing them down, like.
Dude, that Charizard
almost
about
Pikachu.
I'm like, okay, how many 6-year-olds that are coming to see this because it's Pokemon are gonna be like having nightmares?
Well, that's also one thing that I wanted to touch on. The way the Pokemon look, because they're kind of like that half realistic but still what is it? They still show their original design, right? Like they're realistic looking, but you can tell that's a Charizard, that's a Pikachu, and like they almost look nightmarish. And I don't know if you knew this too,
almost.
But so a few years back there was a guy, an artist that drew like super realistic Pokemon.
Yeah.
They got that guy to help design this. Like,
no way, are you serious?
Like this is
idea.
This is
That's
a
so
movie
cool.
that tapped into people that are passionate about Pokemon and just good talent. This movie's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be good.
I just hope the story just doesn't suck. Like
it
the trailer nailed it.
It's gonna be a fun noir movie, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna expect more than that because it is a licensed movie and stuff. But
it's not gonna be Infinity War, Sean.
No.
well,
I don't know.
Mewtwo's gonna come out of nowhere.
No, well, it would be Zekrom or
dude, it could be Groudon.
Who's the Pokemon god?
Reshiram
or Zekrom.
Arceus.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nerds.
Whatever. But no. Like there's speculation because like in the trailer, the part where you see like the ground rising up to them, people are like, "Can you imagine if like that could be Groudon?" You know, or it could be any other legendary. It could be Rayquaza for all we know, breaking the ground.
So much room for it, and I think the key is like how do you keep it from getting ridiculous? You know, like don't try to. We've seen so many licensed movies do it. Like I didn't watch all of it, but the recent Power Rangers movie, like they tried too hard.
You didn't like that? I loved it.
That was too edgy.
Oh,
Definitely.
she's actually the Green Ranger.
Spoilers.
Seriously.
I don't, dude. Get out of here right now.
It's actually kind of cool.
Shut up. Oh, it was so bad.
Anyway, yeah, Detective Pikachu looks really cool.
I wonder if Detective Pikachu knows surf.
They're
gonna make a joke. He's gonna be on a surfboard at some point in that movie.
That'd be actually
I'm
pretty
willing
cool.
to bet on that.
That's some deep lore. That's some deep lore,
on a
my
surfboard
friend.
in this
I don't
film.
know. We didn't
There's
really
too
see
much water in that film, man.
We really didn't get to see a lot of ability. Like, I mean, they didn't, which I'm glad they didn't show a bunch of like Pokemon abilities.
No, they didn't. They really
I do
no
love
moves
him
or
like
nothing.
threatening. He's like, I know you can't hear me, but put that
will.
down or I will electrocute you.
I think the Mr. Mime thing was like subtle.
Yeah.
Like,
Very.
you could, if you
Very.
didn't know, you could have thought that was just it's a
The
joke
mime
about
trick,
mimes.
yeah.
But I think that was a move. And then
Yeah.
there's a point where like Psyduck like yells.
Yeah.
And I can't think of what move that would have been off the top of my head.
Not Psybeam,
Hyper
maybe
Beam.
Roar, Screech. I don't
It
know,
could-
but it
yeah,
was like
Screech.
too intense to be like.
I'm sure we'll
Screech.
see a lot of it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they didn't give it all away in that trailer. And
There's gonna be another one. You know.
Yeah, but I hope they keep it chill because they don't need another trailer that shows a ton of action. Like you sold it, you're good.
Yeah, that was a really good first trailer.
Like show
Really,
me
really good.
more
That's true.
dialogue, whatever you want to do, but don't give away more story. Don't give away a bunch of like action effects scenes. Like it doesn't need to. Yeah.
Speaking of not showing anything else.
I'm just feeding you the transition.
God, yeah, you really are.
So Sony isn't going to be showing anything at E3 next year, according to recent reports from Variety and a few other outlets.
I
Yeah,
don't even
it's
know
crazy.
if I'm gonna look forward to E3 anymore.
I mean, I always will, but
No, I know. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
So what do we think this means? Because this
PS5.
is still
Yeah.
I'm not. It's still kind of rumor. It looks like it's official, but
No, I mean,
the original-
everyone's reporting it. I think it's.
and the original report had like a quote from Sean Layden. Like,
yeah,
I thought that was from earlier in the year though.
was it? Oh, I don't know.
Because that was talking about PSX, how they said they didn't have enough stuff for PSX.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they didn't have a PSX this year. They didn't want anybody to be disappointed.
Okay.
I mean, but let's be honest though. Like, what do they have in the next year?
Well, that's the question because we know they've got Ghost of Tsushima, they've got Death Stranding, they've got The Last of Us Part 2. They've got some unannounced stuff for sure.
You would imagine,
So
none of those games have release dates.
They don't.
but yeah. And what is
So-
we're 5 years into the generation.
And all of those games were showing either first footage period or first gameplay at last E3.
Yeah. A lot of people are speculating.
None of
PS5.
those games could be coming out next year.
I agree.
They could literally none of those could be coming out
That's
next year.
very possible.
But man, if they don't, what the hell is Sony gonna do next year for software? nothing. Literally, like what Days Gone and
so let's dig in. Let's dig into this because.
Well, what's Xbox doing next year for software?
Well,
buying more developers.
Yeah, I mean, they bought all the developers. They're about to buy E3.
But see, here's the thing. This is the thing. So if Sony is relying on third party for next year because they've got nothing, by not showing up at E3, they just gave all the third parties to Microsoft.
Third parties, like trailers,
Microsoft's
announcements.
E3 press conference is guaranteed to be the best next year now because all the third parties are going to go to them.
Well, Metroid
I don't
Prime,
know, Metroid
Pokemon,
Prime.
and
Okay,
Animal
maybe
Crossing,
not guaranteed.
baby.
Nintendo can still.
All right, weebs. Well, to your point, I'm pretty sure Microsoft just acquired Obsidian.
Yeah.
So
Fallout 77.
Makers of the
I don't know. So I was reading. I think we're about to see a big paradigm shift, and more so than I even said.
Final
like
Fantasy
a
13
couple months ago.
God damn it!
Just like I don't. Okay, so I was talking to somebody recently. I don't think Microsoft considers themselves a. Would you get out of here? I will not stoop.
I was waiting for Matt to just snap.
I was like, he's not going for it. There it is. Final Fantasy 13 was announced at the Xbox 360 press conference.
I've actually played Final Fantasy 13. How many of you actually played it?
We
all did.
Oh wait,
And
I'm
the
thinking
second, and the
And
third.
13 too.
Oh,
and
sorry, I was
Lightning
thinking about
Returns.
Lightning Returns. Are you talking about 15?
No, I was thinking about 14.
Oh.
Oh, I booted it up.
Ugh. Oh yeah, the trilogy re-release or whatever. 13.
Oh, the Xbox backwards.
Yeah, the Xbox.
Yeah.
4K remasters for free? Anyway.
My point being, I don't think Microsoft, according to even what Phil Spencer said, they don't consider themselves direct competitors to Sony anymore.
Really?
They don't see that being where they're going. They're very focused on Game Pass, on bringing Game Pass to PC, and probably on making the next Xbox one in a line of multi-featured devices on which you can play games and do other things.
They're gonna be
And
Roku's?
Realistically.
streaming.
A streaming
Xbox One,
all-in-one
Xbox
media
One S,
device.
Xbox One X, PC. Now, why wouldn't your next Xbox just be the most recent, powerful way to play latest games, but you could still play them on Xbox One? Because they lost out. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be the same as it's been. I don't expect maybe Sony's going the big PS5 reveal route.
I think you're right because
Gaming.
Everybody's trying to find their own niche. Like Nintendo owns the mobile handheld space. Nobody's getting in on that, and I think at this point nobody
Sony has
wants
tried
to.
twice.
Well, Sony didn't they just patent something about trying to add a screen?
like a
If they do
it's
that,
a ripoff.
Well, they could add that to the PS5.
That's the Dreamcast, bro.
I'm gonna shake my head on that.
It's a bad call.
No,
I mean, I'll still get it, but
not the
I'm not
Dreamcast.
gonna go carry my PS5.
But you get like a little screen and
I don't want to play The
yeah,
Last of Us on the go. I want to play Smash on the go. I want to play any game. I want to play these quick pick up and play games on the go.
Yeah.
PlayStation games or games I would play on my PlayStation traditionally, like Red Dead's or God of War's. I'm just gonna sit down and want to play it on a big screen, not down.
Yeah, but I would have said the same thing for Zelda, and here I am playing Zelda on the go, and oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
And Wolfenstein is on there, and Doom is on there, and those are.
There's always gonna be games on there that
but
traditionally, I think Nintendo does a lot better at the handheld.
People who are playing Doom on Switch never played it on any other platform and probably didn't own any other platform.
I mean, Doom was on the 64 at some point. Don't
I think he's talking about Doom, the actual.
But what I'm saying is, if you're playing games that were designed first as desktop experiences, that sit down on your couch and play on a 65-inch TV experiences, if you're playing them on Switch, you probably weren't playing them on anything else anyway, which means you probably didn't own that platform, because why would you have bought it? Oh man, I really think Doom's going to be enhanced by playing on Switch when I could have played it on my PlayStation. Well, no, you just didn't own a PlayStation, so you bought it on Switch.
I mean, I know people that own PlayStations that did get it on the Switch just because. Well,
I'm not saying a black and white situation here. I'm just saying if you look at the statistics, I'm sure that there's some reflection of that.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But you were making a point about everyone's trying to find their own niche. I mean, to
I
some
agree.
degree, I think everyone's trying to figure out what the next step looks like.
Yeah, that next step is going to be
Phil
weird.
Spencer and Xbox know where they're going to probably make their money. They know they need to make PC. They finally have the tools.
Yeah.
They finally have the tools to do what they wanted to do for years in terms of like crossplay, supporting multiple platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like they finally set themselves up with all this to be where they want to be, and the game streaming is a possibility. So they've got that. Nintendo's got their niche. What is Sony trying?
Well, you know what may have happened? Now that I think about it, you brought up Microsoft and how much they've been getting back into the good graces, not just of the gamers, but of all the different development companies. And it was rumored that Sony was ready, or they want to push the PS5 out. I know 2019, you guys don't think of that.
Well,
2019, 2020.
Even reports, though, recent reports said 2020.
But Microsoft's like, yeah, maybe 2020, but probably a little bit past that.
Are they even talking about their next Xbox? They just
I'm
said
not
they're
even
working
sure they
on
are.
it. So all they said was they're working on it.
So here's the thing. If Sony was like, perfect, we're going to go first, well, that puts all of the third-party game developers in this really weird position where now they've got a next-gen PlayStation, but they're still making stuff for Xbox One X, and the Xbox One X's successor is not going to come out till later. So what may have happened, and the reason why Sony's like, oh crap, we got nothing coming, and well, now we better not show up at E3, is they're realizing they can't push the PS5 out now. They have to wait for the Xbox, otherwise they're going to piss off all the game developers.
That is a possibility. I mean, the Xbox One X could be a slightly less powerful PS5. I think it's a beast. So the PS5, I mean, I don't see that thing being that much more powerful than the One X.
If it came out in the next couple years, yes, you're
the
right.
PS5?
The PS5.
Yeah, like if it came out in 2020?
Because
no.
if they came out in 2020, the next Xbox is going to surpass it. So
For
I think they may be at that point where like, crap, we gambled on being first out the gate and winning the gen, but all the game developers are saying you need to come out at the same time because this is too much for us to handle.
But then there's also PC, though, to think about. And PC will always be top of the line. Xbox has that market already in a way.
There's a lot of times where stuff doesn't come out till PC till much later.
Yeah,
Sometimes, but that's more Japanese.
Or at all.
That's going to stop being a problem if Microsoft
is.
gets all these first-party titles. They're not going to release all these new first-party titles Xbox before PC. It's all going to come out on the same store.
Well, you're talking first party. I'm
Right.
talking like
third party. Yeah.
But even then, I was gonna say though, those third parties, they're mainly Japanese games. Like Monster Hunter World is one, Dragon Quest XI is another. I can't think of many other examples of games that didn't come out at the same time on PC.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't think of any.
Well, like Red Dead.
Well, that may never come to PC.
That's my point.
Oh, okay.
This may not be a factor, although I kind of feel like they're probably still earlier on in figuring out, because if all they were doing was pumping out a new piece of hardware, it'd be easy. They did that with the Pro. They did that with the X.
Yeah.
Like they've standardized the architecture for consoles so much since the last generation.
Yeah.
It's not hard to pump out new hardware. There's a price point you have to hit. There's a portability factor. There's a media factor. What do you want your console to cost? They could do that in a heartbeat. What does the streaming asset look like? What does crossplay look like? Google, there's an entire R&D division at Google. I forget who they brought on to head it. It was somebody from one of the big studios. I don't remember who it was. It might have been one of Sony's big guys, actually. Is over at Google right now, heading up a console division.
So Google, do you think might be getting into the gaming industry?
Theorized
They've been
to
talking
be
about
centered around a game
Oh,
streaming device, and that's what everyone's talking about right now. So I'm not saying that that's a huge factor. I don't think that's a huge factor. I think that's a ways off.
But streaming
I don't
is
know
a big
if
factor.
Sony.
Oh yeah.
Sony might be out of everybody
either.
who's doing this right now the least decisive about where they're going and what they're doing.
I think they know. I think they're just not telling us, and that's making us think that they don't know.
Yeah. They have to know.
Because you know what? If what I just said was true, I'm not really sure it is, but it could line up. If what I said is true, and now they have to push back the launch of PS5 a year past what they wanted to do, well, you know what? They're still going to win anyway, because that means they're going to launch. They're going to launch with Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, but if they push it back
that is
more,
a killer launch window.
Yeah, but if they push it back
selection.
more, we're telling me that I'm going to have to wait 3 years for these games that were announced 2 years ago?
Well,
5 years?
hey man, that's the new
dumb.
norm. How long
Final
is
Fantasy
Cyberpunk?
15.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's been announced for
been
years.
No,
5
Cyberpunk
years.
Final
was
Fantasy
not in
VII
major-
is
in actual development.
Not
though.
shown.
They were talking
we,
about
we
it.
don't typically get 12-minute gameplay demos for games that don't come out until 3 years
That's what I'm
later.
saying. No, like if they did that, it's gonna hurt them because they're gonna go 3 years with no exclusives.
But we didn't get a gameplay demo of The Last of Us until last year.
Yeah, and when was that announced?
But we just said like Cyberpunk got announced many years before that.
It
We said,
didn't.
oh, but we didn't. But
It didn't.
it was
Witcher
pretty
when
sure.
Witcher 3 came out, they were like, "Hey, our next game's gonna be Cyberpunk." That's not an announcement. That's
no,
like
there was a whole
No,
visual.
there was a.
They had the poster thing,
Yeah.
the splash screen. long before.
The woman that had like the spider.
I was foaming already.
They announced that game like
forever ago, and then they went
but
silent.
they didn't really work on it because they were working on Witcher. They were. That was
we knew.
Witcher. They just had DLC content.
When did Witcher come out? Didn't it come out like 2013 or 2014?
2015.
4 years
Shit.
ago. 4 years ago.
3 years ago.
Well,
we're in 2018.
We're going on 4.
Yeah.
It wasn't released in the
But
fall.
I mean, it didn't come out. No, it did. It was like summer. It was like a summer game.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like it's been 3.5 years. Like they've really only been working on Cyberpunk realistically.
No, they have different teams. They just finished opening up a team in Wrocław, which is just for
Cyberpunk.
that.
Yeah.
On top, now that the team in Warsaw can actually work on it in conjunction.
They may release one of those games
earlier. That's my thing. My concern is that you can't go 3 years without releasing
I don't think we're not going to see Last of Us 2 on PS4. I think we may see it on both, the way we saw Last of Us on both. It's also, I mean, taking the hardware out of it, Sony's people were not happy with what Sony did last year. They tried to go in the opposite direction of what they've done, but there was a lot of criticism of the way. Yeah, I mean, they showed good games, but people didn't like the presentation. They tried to shrink it down. The
pacing was pretty crap.
They obviously spent way less money. So for whatever reason, they were already choosing to downsize, whereas Microsoft went big the way they normally do.
Yeah.
There's got to be something else going on there. I don't know what it is. It could be totally right.
They know what they're doing. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. They know what they're doing.
It's possible that PS5 is coming next year, and they are like, you know what?
That'd be wild.
Based on the timing, they don't want to go to E3 because they know it's going to get semi-drowned out by some of the other announcements from the other companies, so they're just going to have a standalone event. PS5 blowout.
I just
kaboom.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Developers literally like minutes after that Kotaku article or that Variety article about the E3, Jason Schreier posted an article saying, "Hey, developers are saying this coming out 2020." So people in the industry are saying it's 2020. I don't see it coming out next year.
That's possible.
Anything's possible. Switch 2 could come out tomorrow.
It's very likely that it'll be 2020 or later. I'm just not entirely convinced 2019's off the table.
I don't know,
so, man.
The
2019 is in.
If they're not going to be at E3 next year, so that pretty much means that there's going to be no news because obviously they would want some sort of press conference, something to get in front of investors as well as gamers.
Yeah. So what are they going to do for the next year?
So there's no PSX. There's nothing at E3. Does that mean that there's PSX on the line for next fall?
Well, they would be like December of next year.
Yeah,
so
and then they would go ahead and be like, by the way, guys. PS5.
Yeah,
they could do that.
They would have their own event.
E3 2020 would go ahead and hype people up.
It's just weird that they wouldn't even show up at E3 2019, even without a press conference. Just show up.
They might have a direct. They even said no off.
They said they're not doing anything.
Literally nothing.
That just seems strange.
Maybe they're just trying to be weird, man. They're trying to go because they went against the grain E3 this year.
We're all talking about it, so
that's what I'm saying. They know what they're doing.
We're gonna talk about it until the moment comes up because E3 hype is real, and until the moment comes that we get that schedule and we see nothing on Sony, it's really weird to think about them not being.
I mean, they're gonna be at E3. They're gonna
have
demos and all that stuff.
No, they
Cyberpunk.
won't. I really don't think they would. If they said they're not, then
they said no conference. That doesn't mean they're not gonna be at E3. They can show up at E3.
I think it was we'll have to go look. I'm pretty sure they followed up and said, there's nothing.
I saw
no solo events. Nothing's happening around E3 for Sony.
Who knows, man?
They skipped out of Gamescom this year.
Yeah,
Paris, right? Paris Game Conference.
I don't know. I know they were at the Tokyo Game Show.
Game Awards. Dude, what are they gonna show at the Game Awards?
Well, we'll find out.
What if Keighley is like, bros? You're gonna here's $100K. Show me the money, Sony. Maybe Keighley has them all right there.
I don't know what's.
Maybe they just blew their load.
Metroid Prime 4 is gonna
PS5 Shadow drop on December 5th. It's happening.
Oh yeah. That's
break the internet.
A good way to market.
Or December 6th. When is the game?
6.
Okay, yeah. Screw you, Nintendo and Smash Brothers.
Here's PS5.
You didn't put Naughty Dog into Smash. Well, we're just releasing. We're releasing PS5 today.
I would want Bandicoot, bro.
Crash Bandicoot.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
No. That's weird.
But what I was saying is that Cyberpunk.
Oh, sorry.
They did that. They announced it. They had a trailer. They did absolutely nothing. And then I think it was last year they tweeted a period.
I remember that.
and that was
they
it.
Started building the hype with Twitter,
and that was it.
Yeah,
nothing.
But they're not producing.
I know. I'm just saying that like that's the marketing tactic that they use.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
To their fans, it worked.
Oh hell
it's
yeah,
weird because it's one of the most dominant console producers. Like
now,
they are in
CD
the big
Projekt
three.
Red, man.
I just hope it isn't another PS3 Ridge Racer $6.99 moment. That's all I hope.
Sony needs to get off their high horse. They've been on a little bit of a high horse recently.
They had management changes, and
that's my concern.
They've obviously done some things differently. Like they've opened up the Fortnite thing's not a problem now. They learned.
Shouldn't have ever been a problem. But
I know. Yeah, but you got they were dumb. They made a mistake. At least they backed off it. They didn't get more stubborn with it.
Look, Microsoft got a lot of crap when this gen started.
Yeah, they
and if Sony starts off very similarly, they're gonna get a lot of crap.
And Microsoft's taking advantage because last year or this past E3 they got into some good graces and they've continued to do that.
They did.
So and then Nintendo's obviously always
Nintendo's literally the big elephant in the room. He's like, "Hi."
You know what's weird here?
Guys.
What's weird here too?
We got smashed.
And everybody's like, "Oh my god, they saved gaming!"
Ultimate.
Sony's kind of competing in the same sphere as Microsoft in a more subtle way, though. Like, because Games Pass isn't like really a PC thing right now. PlayStation Now is. You can play
PC,
Bloodborne on your PC right now.
I mean,
it's very subtly just there.
Yeah. But they don't advertise it.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe they're just reevaluating everything.
So here's my thing. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to other sides of Microsoft throughout the years, but they have definitely aside from Xbox, they have changed their preface towards business in general completely different to how it was 10 years ago. Instead of being like, this is my house, you have to come here and you have to play here, it's more of like, here's my software. You can use Word on Mac. You can on Android. You can install Cortana.
Yeah.
Like you can change so many things that have the Microsoft stamp on it.
Yep.
They need to. They need to survive in a world where we have so many options. We live in a world of options, and why wouldn't you want to appeal to everybody else?
When you mentioned the whole Roku-esque thing of Microsoft,
you were pretty serious. Yeah.
I'm pretty serious that I could see that happening. The whole backwards compatibility that they've done already.
Stream it.
And you know what's funny? That's what they wanted to do at the beginning of this generation.
Yes. And everybody gave them shit
and
for
they found a way to back into it.
Yep.
And all it took was just a different presentation.
Yep.
It's a better way of presenting. They presented it poorly.
Accessible, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because honestly, that idea back at the beginning wasn't a bad idea.
They were cocky, arrogant Microsoft.
Yeah.
We won with our 360. Boom! You're gonna pay $500 for our Xbox One, and you got to check in every 20 and blah 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 blah. And Sony's like,
"No, such a weird thing.
No, we're the same, and we're cheaper, and you love us more." Oh my God! Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's go,
dude.
It
was hilarious. How do you borrow a game on PS4?
And oh my god! And they filmed it like the day before.
Oh, dude!
And it's flipped. It is totally flipped.
It has. It really has. And now Sony is like, "What do we do? We gotta do something. What do we do?"
So I hope they're smart enough to figure something out, because I would prefer not to keep waffling back.
I know. PS2, like PS2, next gen, Xbox 360.
You know what?
Then
I was thinking about this on the drive over. We're in that not rare, but we're in that company at that age where we make the kind of.
I was about to say
Microsoft. God damn it!
No, we do well enough that when a new release comes out, and we know a launch window is hitting for new generation consoles. Any one of us within a year span can own all three of the major consoles.
I mean, you're right.
We don't have to choose.
But it's more so the time.
Right. I get it. But like, I have a PC, which is the only reason I don't have an Xbox, and I might get one over Black Friday for the 4K Blu-ray player, because I have a bunch of 4K Blu-rays.
You still don't have one?
I have. No, I just haven't.
You can find one for cheaper.
I know.
You can find a standalone 4K player this year for really cheap, my friend.
Yeah,
for 2 digits.
That's
if it's got Dolby Vision, I'm down.
I'm sure it does.
Anyway, but I've got a PlayStation. I've bought 3 PlayStations.
Here you have.
I easily could have spent money on one of those on an Xbox at some point.
Wait, which were the 3?
Switch.
Like the launch, Batman, and Spider-Man,
and Pro.
You're such a superhero nerd, dude. Batman and Spider-Man.
They're the 2 best superheroes.
All right, just
Sorry, they're the 2 best superheroes. I gotta yell away from the mic.
Speaking of superheroes,
since
we're going pretty long on that Sony conversation. We wanted to end things on a bittersweet. Well, we didn't want to end it on a bittersweet note, but it's going to end on a bittersweet note.
Pay respect.
Pay our tributes, our respects to the good Stan Lee, who passed away earlier
this week. I forget the day. I think it was Tuesday. maybe. But
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
12th. It was the 12th. Yeah. Because that was the same day that I opened up Facebook. Facebook reminded me. It's like, hey, you've been on here for 10 years. Congrats. I'm like, oh, cool. And then 2 hours later, oh my God.
Congratulations, man.
I just happened to have just bought Infinity War on 4K.
Right. That's right.
And I just happened to watch it that night and then thought about it. So I'm sitting there watching the end of that movie in all its somber glory, and I'm only seeing it for the second time.
Yeah.
Thinking about like the legacy. I was,
dude, Stan Lee,
looking at my Spider-Man PlayStation. And
I just finished Spider-Man this week right after that happened too.
I mean,
love the cameo in that game, by the way.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Stan Lee,
I always loved you too. I thought you were the greatest couple in the world. Wow, I didn't know I could. That was probably terrible. I'm so sorry,
good.
Stan Lee.
That was
Please
good.
forgive me.
It's like, and it's Stan Lee. I didn't know this about him, but when he started writing these, he actually thought he was just kind of wasting time. In an interview, like he said, I thought, my work could never have amounted to something this big, And then he said, well, I guess I didn't give enough credit to the entertainment industry. And that gives me the idea of like, we as gamers, we as movie fanatics and stuff, I'd like to take a lot of stuff from what I intake in games, and I look for messages and stuff, and he gave some good stuff.
So what you're saying is the gaming resume could be the next Stan Lee, because this is just a waste of time, and oh my God. We will never be Stan Lee.
No,
Holy shit.
dude.
I think I'm just happiest that so many great artists and creators through the years it's been posthumous, right? Like they don't get to see the legacy that they leave because their legacy comes years after they die.
Bob Kane. Kane died, and then Batman blew up.
Exactly. Like he got to watch it become a phenomenon, and not just like, oh, there are movies and there are games, and like it's like
it's
as
cultural.
a whole, the drive of nerd culture becoming mainstream.
Wow.
The drive of superheroes becoming like
mainstream
role models for everyone. How many Captain America T-shirts do you see in the streets now? And it's not just because of the comics.
Yeah,
it's everything.
It's what it represents.
Right? Like he got to see the first true cinematic universe built off of his characters. He got to be involved in all those things. It's a major impact, like a bigger impact than I can think anyone has ever had in that kind of sphere ever.
Like it's sad that Bob Kane died so long ago, because they had a conversation, him and Stan Lee, and Bob Kane was like, he was like not making fun of Stan Lee, but telling him, hey, my superhero got a movie, talking about the first Batman movie, and Stan Lee was like, don't worry, you'll see one day. And then of course Bob Kane passed away, and he never got to see Spider-Man, and obviously all of this. But Stan Lee, like, he got to be
in almost every single one of those films.
And bittersweetly enough, he actually did film.
He's
Avengers 4.
He's in Avengers 4. He's in
Captain
Marvel. He's in Dark Phoenix is the next X-Men movie.
Oh, is that what it is?
And he's also in. I think he's in the Spider-Man movie.
There
was a news post that was like,
that would make sense. I think they said he's in every Marvel movie that's currently in production.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's bittersweet, but it's gonna be
if
probably gonna tear up.
If they do not end Avengers 4,
I know.
Oh,
in the credits with some sort of homage.
Dude, they're probably gonna start the movie off with just in honor of. Like, I feel like that'll be the first.
They should start the movie with Stan Lee.
With his cameo
cold start with him at the very beginning.
I would be totally
because he was sitting there informing the watchers, right?
Yeah.
So he could be like, it could even be like after the movie ends, and he's like, well, so I know how this all ends, and I'm gonna tell you about it, and then it cuts back. Oh man, I'm making myself sad.
I know. Whenever that scene, whenever they have in memory of Stan Lee, I know I'm gonna get emotional. I'm like, damn it, this is it.
When he was so tied into his fans.
Yeah.
Like there's all this footage going around of him.
Stan Lee will return.
Oh.
Because he will in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That'd be cute.
I mean, his legacy will live on a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, 95 years old, man. Like
95. He lived a full life. I gotta give him to
It's very
Stan
cool.
Lee, man. He'll forever be remembered for sure.
I hope they do him justice with whatever Avengers game Square Enix is currently messing around with.
Oh no!
At least we know we've got Sony Spider-Man.
Yeah, we got.
Which is that's like the character that's so strongly associated.
Yes, thank you for Spider-Man.
That's getting a sequel.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah,
it's getting a trilogy.
I certainly hope so.
Oh, dude, it's getting
the
Arkham.
It's a good game. Yeah.
I know we're past the thing, but man, the swinging in that game was so
Spider-Man?
freaking good.
They did really good.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
it
it wasn't like, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I read up way too much on it. In Spider-Man 2, it was more skill-based. This one is more accessibility-based.
Yeah.
And I think it was like that for the better. It made it a joy just swinging around town. You can't do goofy stuff like in Spider-Man 2, but still, like that thrill of the constant movement, making it go fast and
I gotta say,
so
having
good.
gone to New York City for the first time earlier this year,
right.
And yes, there's Avengers Tower
liberties,
and there's Jessica Jones' office and all that stuff around the city, but it's like there's actual landmarks, real life landmarks, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is where my hotel was, and so I'd go a few blocks down, I'm like, oh my god, here's the thing, and it was just. I knew my way around the city having been there. That was the first time that's ever happened to me in a video game. Was Spider-Man. Now I'm sure that's happened for many of you who have been to New York plenty of times in your life, or
you live there.
other cities that are based on games. But
like in GTA,
for me, Spider-Man was
yeah.
the first time I've ever experienced that in a game, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So
I was playing it with my fiance, and she's like, "Oh, go see the." Oh God, if she sees it, don't kill me. I forget what bridge it was. The one that leads to. I think it was Bronx. I think it's a Bronx bridge, right? Does Bronx have a bridge?
There's like 3 bridges. The
Manhattan, Brooklyn.
Never been there.
I think it's
my
a Brooklyn
family in
bridge.
New York's all upstate, like they're not in the city. So.
I think it was the Brooklyn Bridge, and I literally swung up there, and I showed her. She's like, "Yeah, it's a Brooklyn Bridge." I'm like, "That's so cool." Okay. Yeah, it's good game.
Amazing game.
So yeah.
Thank you, Stanley.
Yeah,
seriously. A lot of good memories with Spider-Man.
So,
it's my first superhero game.
Yeah.
We are going to take next week off because in the United States, next week is the holiday of Thanksgiving.
Turkey Day.
Which falls on a Thursday, which is when we normally record. So we will be with our families that day.
Eating turkey.
However, the following week is pre-Game Awards.
November 30th, I think.
I'm not sure what we thought we were doing. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We had an idea. I've already forgotten it. It looks
Me
like
too.
we all did. But look forward to it.
Hey.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be great. And we're going to be watching the Game Awards, so you will see our reactions to that. We're going to be playing Smash. We've got our own Game Awards that will be coming up a little bit later in the year, and some other fun little things we'll be doing here and there. So yeah,
Awesome.
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Make sure you click the bell.
Click the bell, boys. Click the bells.
No.
Oh, I see what you were doing.
See you guys. Like what you saw? Check out some of our other videos and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for your support and thanks for watching.